welcome back to the channel, guys. I'm here to do what I watched in October. Now, I'm hoping I'm recording correctly. I'm recording, I can't see myself because I'm not on my reverse facing camera on my phone. I'm on the other one because I've only just found out it's better quality. Right, I'm going to get the old screen recorder and get straight into it, guys. So, on the 1st of October, I went to a Fright Club NI screening of The Descent. Now, of course, I've seen this Descent before multiple times. I really enjoy this movie. It is, I think it was its 20th anniversary. So you can see there, obviously I've given it a 4 out of 5. Fright Club are a couple of guys, Danny and Gav, from my hometown, and they basically screen horror movies every few months. They do one every Christmas, every Halloween, and periodically through the year. We've only just finished watching the original Fright Night for Halloween in fancy dress, and the Christmas one is Terrifier 3, which is going to kill me. I'm not going to get to see because it's the final night for Scouts of the year and it's their Christmas party. And as one of the leaders, I kind of have to be there. So I'm going to miss Terrifier 3. Gutted. But yeah, they're awesome, guys. They do have a YouTube channel, guys. So the Fright Club Northern Ireland, if I remember, I'll link them. Please add them. They are lovely guys. So, The Descent, fabulous, love it, loved it again when I watched it again. I've seen it multiple times. I find it really claustrophobic, quite scary. I don't like heights. The idea of caving to me is just preposterous. Why the hell you would want to do that and get yourself stuck? I have a story. If you find yourself bored, I have a story on my Facebook page about a man that got stuck in a cave called Nutty Putty Cave. So if you look it up on my page, and it tells you all about him, and he got stuck and they couldn't get him out and he died and they had to leave his body in there. It's terrifying, honestly. So that was a bit of a spoiler, but it's a true story. It's really interesting, and they did a movie about it as well. So on the not on the 4th, over multiple days, but logged on the 4th, is the Ed Gein story with, what's your man called now? Does it matter what it's? Charlie Huffman. Hunnam, Jesus Christ. So pretty weird casting, we all thought. Ed Gein's a bit of a weird looking dude, and he's a bit of a, you know, attractive looking man. It was a bit weird when they cast him. But he was fantastic as Ed Gein. Now, I think it was a fantastically made series. I think it was grotesque, it was horrendous, he was very good at what he did. He completely changed himself. You know, you wouldn't look at him and go, oh, he's a bit of alright, like you would in everything else. He just epitomised that horrible ugh. But Aaron from Screen Stars said this best. He said there will be people, and I think he was included in that are massive lovers of true crime, like myself. We want to see something a little bit more factual. Now, what Ed Gein did was horrific enough. You did not need to add a lot of the stuff that was added here. A lot of people will watch this and think this is a true and accurate account of Ed Gein in his life, and it isn't. There are a lot of problems, a lot of issues in there of stuff that never even happened. It went a bit dreamlike as well in sections. I'm not a fan of that when it comes to a real story. I gave it a 3 out of 5. Due to my personal enjoyment. I do recognise it's very well made, it's fantastically acted, it looks amazing. I can see that, you know, the ties to Texas Chainsaw, to Psycho, which all of that's a bit questionable also. And that was interesting. What was most interesting about those scenes where they tie it to Texas Chainsaw and Psycho was where they replicate the actual scenes with the actors doing the scenes, and then it cuts to cut, and that was all really interesting. But I wanted to see a more realistic portrayal, but I think that's a personal thing. I won't deny it was very well done, very well acted, but just my taste, you know. So next was Delirium. I've no recollection. I'm going to have to open this thing up. I have no idea what this is. A man recently released from a mental institute inherits a mansion after his parents die. After a series of disturbing events, he comes to believe it is haunted. Right, I've given it a 2 out of 5. I literally cannot remember a thing about this film. Absolutely nothing. I would probably put this on and watch half it before I realised I'd seen it before. It's ridiculous. No, I don't know. 2 out of 5. I obviously didn't think it was the worst thing I'd ever seen, but I didn't rate it, so apologies. That's not very good to let you know what I watched, but I don't remember anything about it. Spinal Tap 2. Maybe the end continues. Oh, Jesus wept. Right. So, let me give you a little bit of history of me and Spinal Tap. I am probably one of the only fans of rock. I've been a rock fan since I was about 13. And I'm probably on my own in the rock world of not enjoying the Spinal Tap movie. I've only seen it once, and I don't know if it was because everyone always built it up as being like, oh, the Holy Grail, it's amazing, it's fantastic, it's hilarious, and I sat down to watch it. It's one of my husband's favourite movies of all time. It's in his top 10 movies of all time list. He has been to see Spinal Tap live, and he was lucky enough to be in their live DVD. He's in the audience, he's in it, the git. Anyway, I didn't find it funny. I've got a very specific sense of humour. Just to give you an idea, I don't find Monty Python remotely funny. A lot of people love it. I am not one of them. I sort of think the humour's very similar. You'll be going, it's completely different. It's like that absurdism, you know what I mean? It's just not. I like really stupid, just basic. I do like quite highbrow. I love Blackadder. My favourite comedy is probably Bottom. So to give you an idea, I like really stupid, gross humour. Spinal Tap 2, The End Continues, was shit. There's no other word for it. My husband didn't even like it, and he adores Spinal Tap. He didn't rate it at all. What I did like about it was the music. Now, you may laugh, but I think the guys are good at what they do. I find the tunes all really, really catchy. The lyrics are ridiculous. But I enjoyed the musical aspect of it, and I enjoyed a couple of famous people that were in there. I enjoyed what they did, but I'll tell you one thing that was really jarring. There's an actress in it that's in loads of Ricky Gervais things. I adore Ricky Gervais TV shows, and this actress I love. I'll put her name in when I'm editing, and I love her. She's brilliant. She is terrible in this. She is cringy. Every time she opens her mouth, it's like, oh my god, what have you done? Your career's gonna nosedive after this, love. But no, she was so miscast. It was so just wrong. But let me know what you thought. But yeah, it's a bit of a bone of contention that I'm not a Spinal Tap fan, I have to say. Okay, same evening, Good Boy. So, I obviously had to check before I watched this to make sure that the dog doesn't die. He doesn't. So, I give this a 3.5. This movie follows a dog's eye view of a situation going on in a particular house. I don't want to tell you too much. It's very same premise to Presence, the one from a ghost's eye view, but Presence just squandered its whole potential. I don't feel this did. I really enjoyed this. The dog is adorable. It's actually the director's dog. It was filmed over several years. The cinematography is probably among the most beautiful I've seen all year. Absolutely stunning cinematography. I could have watched another half hour of this easily. It really worked for me. I felt it was really novel. It was really different. I absolutely loved how it ended. When we summed up what was happening, it was perfect for me. So yeah, Good Boy gets a thumbs up from me. I give it a 3.5 out of 5. I won't watch something if the dog dies. One of the most uncomfortable experiences of my life was watching Marley and Me at the cinema. I cried, and I don't mean tears run down my face. I mean, there was a woman howling a couple of rows back. I had to dig my nails into my palm to try and stop myself from like audibly crying. I didn't like ooh, but it wasn't far off. It was shocking, and it didn't help that we had a really old dog at the time. Oh, it's one of the most horrific things I've ever seen. On the 12th, All the Devils Are Here. Right, I watched this after watching a review from IMO Reviews, Elliot. It has Eddie Marsan in, who's one of my favourite British actors at the moment. I love him. Anything he is in, he is fabulous. This is a very sort of gritty, British, it's just like a crime drama. And it follows these guys, after a heist, 4 criminals lay low in a remote safe house waiting for orders. As paranoia builds, one thing becomes clear: the real threat may not be outside, but among them. This was good. I enjoyed it. Eddie Marsan is, as always, fantastic. All of the performances here are really good. It won't be everybody's cup of tea. I know a lot of people find this really boring from looking at IMDb. If you like character studies and you like to watch good acting and you don't expect things to be moving at 60 miles an hour, then you may enjoy this. I did. I thought it was really good. I gave it a 3 out of 5, and it has a bit of a twisty twist about it that was interesting. Who did I say? No, it wasn't Elliot from IMO Reviews. It was the Scottish movie guy. What's his name? Oh, Jesus. I'll link somewhere. It was, he actually interviewed the actors that was in this on like a carpet type thing. It was his review. Scottish Geek Guy, is that it? I'll link him in the either in the comments or at the end. Talking out my bum. Don't know what I'm talking about. 12, The Lost Bus. Now, I'd been told by multiple people to watch this because it was really, really good. Matthew McConaughey and America Ferrera, most commonly known as, is it Superstore, the comedy on Netflix that she's in. This is a true story, which is when people said you have to see this. When I read that it was a true story, that got me. So this is inspired by a true story of survival. A determined father risks everything to rescue a dedicated teacher and her students from a raging wildfire. So this follows wildfire. So this obviously follows, there's a wildfire, it's spreading crazily, there are people stuck that can't get out. These school kids are stuck in like a zone that's very dangerous. Their parents can't get to them in time. They have to get out. This bus driver just so happens to be the only one even close to them. He goes, picks him up with the teacher. Well, he makes the teacher go. He says, I'm not taking these kids on my own. He's got his own issues going on, his own problems, as does she. And this is the story about them getting the kids through this event. Very well acted, really tense. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fantastic. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. I really enjoyed both performances. I enjoyed the very down-to-earth Matthew McConaughey performance. He's not playing that like action hero guy that he usually does, or like the handsome lead, you know, the all right. He's not playing him at all. And I really enjoyed this character, this real man that he's playing. Definitely would recommend that one. It was very good. 3.5 out of 5. Code 3. Right, yes. Aaron from Screen Stars reviewed this one. Aaron is my go-to man for found footage recommendations. So this has Rainn Wilson, most commonly probably known for the US Office. And this is lauded as being one of the most accurate portrayals of what it's like to be a paramedic. This is a found footage. We follow this guy and a couple of crewmates on a typical day. A burned out paramedic tries to survive his last 24 hours on the job whilst training a new recruit. This is really good. It's very funny. It's you warm to the characters, you really like them, and the amount of times I have read real first responders say this is so totally what it is actually really like. I would thoroughly recommend this. It is found footage, but it is very funny. I don't feel you need to be a found footage fan to enjoy this at all. I feel this will appeal to most people. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. Give it about half an hour before you decide if it's not for you. It takes a little bit to get going, but Rainn Wilson is absolutely brilliant in this. Yeah, thoroughly recommend. Where are we? The Woman in Cabin 10. So this is a series on Netflix at the moment with, what's her name? Keira Knightley, is it? Yes, Keira Knightley. So she basically, in the middle of the night, thinks she sees a person getting thrown off board into the sea. They're in the middle of the ocean. And I think, I think she's a reporter. She's there to do a piece. And people are gaslighting her. They're saying, no, you didn't see anything. There was no one. You've imagined it. Blah, blah, blah. And being the person she is, she tries to get to the bottom of, yes, I saw someone. What did I see? This is very like Agatha Christie-esque. It's very British, I suppose, in its approach. You're going to hear a bit of noise. My husband's just back from walking the dogs. This was a little bit dull for the most part, I have to admit. I'm not the biggest Keira Knightley fan. I don't dislike her at all. I've never seen her in anything and thought, wow, this just never happened. It goes a bit weird at the end. Things get, oh, Guy Pearce is in this and he's really good. Things get a little bit blown out of proportion at the end to the nth degree. It does get a little bit ridiculous. Things happen and you're like, oh, come on, really? It's not the worst thing you'll ever watch. It kills a couple of hours if you have nothing to do. Is it something I would suggest you must rush out and see? Absolutely not. Well, not rush out. It's on Netflix if you fancy it. It's, if you like Agatha Christie type stuff, you probably enjoy it, but be prepared to eye roll a bit as it approaches the end, I will say. Okay, The Perfect Neighbour. This is, if you haven't, you'll be under a rock if you haven't heard about this. This is a new Netflix documentary, true crime documentary. Police body cam footage reveals how a long-running neighbourhood dispute turned fatal in this documentary about fear, prejudice and stand your ground laws. This is really scary to most people, probably even in America, but I think outside of America, that, you know, the ease with which people have and get and use guns is quite scary. And this has, every neighbourhood has this cantankerous old fart that just gets really wound up about kids being kids and playing. And this neighbourhood has a lady exactly like that. We had a neighbour like that for a number of months. Jesus, the woman was schizo. She's moved out now, thank Christ. So this woman, not only is she a horrible person, she's racist. There are a family of young kids that live opposite her who are black, who she obviously has severe issue with, and their friends come around and they all play football or whatever. And things just get to a really bad degree. You have loads of build up of the police being called out constantly by this woman and them coming out, and they're like, even like, oh, you know, she's calling us out again, what the hell's going on? But it ends really badly, as you can imagine. Toilet flushing, you get all the noises in this house. I gave it a 3 out of 5 because I wanted to see more. I wanted to see more interviews after the fact. It showed little clips at the end of the court case. I wanted to see proper detail. I would have liked a full episode just on the court case. If you had cameras in there filming to give us the little bit that we got, give us all of it. I want to see loads more. It was very good. I just wanted more interviews from the people involved. I wanted more footage of the court case. This is pretty much almost all police camera footage. There are interviews intermingled of while this thing was going on, but I thought that they could have went further, another couple of episodes easily. A lot of documentaries on Netflix, I feel, are massively drawn out and give us stuff we don't need. This one I felt the opposite about. I could have watched much more about it. That same evening we rewatched The Black Phone because we were going to see Black Phone 2 the next evening at the cinema. I actually enjoyed this slightly more this time than I did when I first saw it. I think purely because I had in my mind what I was expecting when I first saw it, and it didn't give me what I was expecting. I thought that there was actually going to be more of a paranormal thing about it than there was. There was going to be more people on that phone than there were a bigger part. I know that's weird, a lot of people felt the opposite. They didn't like that paranormal inclusion. I just expected a bit more of it. So when I watched it knowing exactly what I was getting into, I enjoyed it a little bit more the next time round. So 3.5 out of 5 for that one. Black Phone 2, you can see I've scored it exactly the same. Now I will say I did enjoy this one more. This one is set at a winter camp. I don't know where it is. It's somewhere very cold. Closes down, snow, ice, you name it. It's in the middle of nowhere. The two kids are now, the boy is 17, his sister is slightly younger. Her sort of gift seems a bit more advanced in that she can see the other side, I suppose. They want to go to this camp as camp counselors. They're on their way there to volunteer as counsellors, but when they're on their way, everyone else gets told camp's closed, we're cancelling, weather's terrible, but they've left by then. They get there, so they're kind of stranded there, and everything kicks off. Now obviously there's a massive paranormal side of things because we know the grabber's gone, so Black Phone 2 has to give us a way to reintroduce him, and it does. I have to say, I completely agree with Elliot from IMO Reviews. We get backstory on the kid's mother, and to me it made so much sense that we should have had her backstory as part 2, but it sort of plays into the kid's story. But to me, the perfect way to end this is a trilogy, and is to give us the mother's story, go right back to her day, and see what they can do with that. I enjoyed it. I agree with everyone's thoughts that it is like a cross between Nightmare on Elm Street and Stranger Things, very much so. It has that feel. The music is pretty much almost lifted out of like Stranger Things. It's so ridiculously similar. The person that has to, now I don't know, Madeline McGraw, is she the kid? If Madeline McGraw, I think it is, she's the young girl, she's the standout here. Her acting is fantastic. She has got very bright future ahead of her, 100%. I really enjoyed what she did. There are little scenes that are a bit kooky, a bit up in the air, where she's been, no pun intended, where she's been flung about and stuff, and no one else can see who's flinging her about, because it's like in the dream world, but it's really happening. The similarities to A Nightmare on Elm Street are definitely there, but it's not quite as dark. There are quite a few nice gory scenes in it, I will admit. Some injuries and stuff, which was nice. I wouldn't say you're going to say this is one of the best movies of the year, but I would say most people will go in and have a good enough time with it. So yeah, 3.5 out of 5. Roofman, right, I'm not going to talk at any great length about the next two. Roofman, and I swear, because I've got individual reviews on the channel, Roofman is a true story about a guy that breaks into McDonald's through their roofs. He gets caught, he goes to prison, and he escapes prison. The movie is about his time on the run. It's a true story. I really enjoyed it. Peter Dinklage is in it, who plays like the manager of a Toys R Us store that is tied to this guy that escapes. I won't tell you how. Kirsten Dunst is in it. She was one of my favourites in this. She plays a really, really interesting role of this like middle-aged mom, churchgoer, a bit just very normal. And I love to see a Hollywood actress that's stunningly beautiful play a normal woman without any, you know, she's just very pared back, very simple, and I really appreciated that. I enjoyed it. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. I would have liked to have seen more Peter Dinklage, but obviously the movie's not about him, it's about Roofman. This is very close to the real story. There's only one slight difference, which is so immaterial it's almost not even worth mentioning. But the real guy did do interviews for Channing Tatum and was really happy with what he did, how he was portrayed. Initially he wasn't happy because he thought Channing Tatum was the wrong choice. He was like a pretty boy, too handsome. But after speaking to him, it completely changed his mind. So I would thoroughly recommend Roofman. I thought it was very good. Hang on. I have put in Roofman 2003. Jesus Christ. How do I remove that? How do I... Nope. How do I remove... Oh, flip. Right, what date's that? Right, in real time you get to say Lisa fuck up. How do I remove that? How do I remove that? Flipping... I'm not get... Oh god, so I've got that logged. Right, what date is it? The 18th of October. Honestly. That's what we wanted. Oh dear me. And Lisa in real time. Right, and that's going to put that in the complete wrong date. Log. 18th of October, please. Oh, honestly. Save. Right, let's hope that's done what it had to do. Okay, hopefully my head's still in view. I knocked off my whole screen recorder there, trying to... Yes, I'm in my pyjamas in case my leg flew up there and you saw my Jack Skellington. I'm one of these really irritating people that once it's the 1st of November, it's time for Christmas. I'm all about Halloween, but once it goes over, we're all about Christmas. The dogs are now back. They're having a wee drink, so if you hear any weird noises, that's what's going on. So let's get the old screen recorder back on. I just hope I'm in shot here. Okay, so Roofman, we've added the correct Roofman. I enjoyed it. Nice little movie. My husband, to give you another person's view, thought it was okay. He didn't think it was great. It's just one of those things that was alright to watch, but he wasn't a massive fan. Okay, the 19th, The Man with the Black Umbrella. Spooky Astronaut mentioned this, so I wanted to see it. It's sort of found footage style. Some murders shouldn't be solved. On January 8th, 2015, a man with a black umbrella broke into blah blah blah, committing a double murder. The investigation that ensued proved that some murders shouldn't be solved. I thought this was terrible. I have just seen James Herbert written there. Is this from one of his notebooks? Anyway, I know nothing about this. It's just that she mentioned it and I implicitly trust her judgment. I may need to watch this again, but it felt really low quality. It felt like a really cheap movie. It wasn't scary. It wasn't suspenseful. Please tell me, am I missing something? Do I need to give this another chance? I have a tendency sometimes to get a bit distracted. Hello, Molly. This is Molly. It's usually Dobby, but it's Molly today. Hello, Molly. She's a good kid. Right. The other one's now jealous. Are you coming as well? There we go. How pretty are they? The prettiest girls in the world. Yes. Right. Good girls. So yeah, let me know if I need to watch that again, but it basically, all I remember about it is someone's outdoor CCTV footage and this guy with an umbrella that looks really cheaply filmed walking in, loads of screaming, then he walks out and we're trying to find out who this guy is for the whole film, and it just, I think you're meant to feel suspenseful and a bit nervous and worried, and I just felt bored. But I have a tendency to get quite distracted, it has to be said. Okay, on the same evening, the Glenarm tapes. Now, I wanted to see this because this was filmed just up the road from where I live. I live in an area called Glenravel in Northern Ireland, which is right up the north of Ireland, near to the coast, sort of like northeast. Very close to where Game of Thrones, like outside shots tend to be filmed. This is in an area called Glenarm. I'm in Glenravel, so it's like the 7th Glen or something like that. This is found footage. 5 students into the forest. They catch wind that 2 other teachers are having an affair. They go out there to try and catch them in the act because they don't like the teachers. And when they're out there, they come across something very odd and cultish going on, and they get tied up in all of this. It's okay. I gave it a 2.5. I did like to see the local area. I like to hear the local accents. I'm always going to support local movies. I didn't think it was amazing. I thought it was okay. From the point of view of like smaller budget, you know, it was okay. It was pretty decent, but when you compare it against things like The Boys from the County Hell, we're not even close. But I'd recommend it to massive fans of found footage, but not many other type of people, or people that are local that want to see I've hiccups now, want to see their local area. This is going to be a really unpopular opinion. John Candy, I like me. I heard quite a few people talking about this. I do like John Candy and his work. I thought this undersold John Candy. Everyone I know that have seen this thought it was amazing, loved it, was brought to tears by it actually. I felt there was too much about John Candy's career in this and not enough about him as the man. The only bits that I found myself getting properly engaged and properly pulled in on was when we caught the celebrities being interviewed about the man, about things that he did, when his eulogy at his funeral, when someone's talking about him going to the butchers and the local shops and him the person. We get little anecdotes from different people he's worked with, but that's few and far between. It's much more about him as the actor and him as the director and his professionalism, and obviously we touch on like his weight and his health and his addiction, but to me I needed it to be much more personal for it to pull me in. Too much about career, not enough about the man. Now, in complete contrast, obviously I want to be completely transparent, this is the scores of the other people I know that have seen this. There was the name I was looking for. Scottish Geek Guy. He was the one that watched that movie earlier. Kimberly, same as myself, 3, but everyone else there's 4, 4.5, and 5s there. They'll be big John Candy fans, no doubt, but they obviously got from that what they wanted to get from it. I just like to know more about the people. It's why my favourite type of videos are vlogs, believe it or not. You're like, what? You're a movie fan? I like to know personal stuff about people. I'm a nosy fucker, I really am. But I like to get to know the person behind, and if I see real personality coming through in videos, that's what keeps me watching. It's the people. A lot of the time, like I've said before, I'm on a tangent, guys. I don't collect physical media anymore because I can't afford it, I don't have the room for it, and I so rarely watch the same thing multiple times. I did used to have quite a big collection back in the days of VHS when I worked for Blockbuster. I had to get rid of it when I moved to England. I've since moved back. I've got a husband and a son who are both hoarders of all sorts of shite. I don't have any room. I probably will collect more going forward in the future when the house becomes my own again and my son's old enough to move out. But the point of me saying this is I watch videos where people go shopping. I watch Kermit's Ghost every week where he goes to HMV and picks up movies. Jamie Powell's when he did them. I will watch for the people, not so much what they're buying. To me, I want to see them. I want to hear Alan's little bits of history about places he's going. I want to hear Jamie's jokes and little skits he puts in. So for me, the person will sell the video 100%. So if you're a person that does videos about what you've watched, or you're going out buying stuff and I watch you regularly, it's because I like you, the person. It's because I enjoy something that you're giving me about what you're saying. There'll be something personal, there'll be something different, there'll be something that you bring as a reviewer. As an example, Adam Paul Bowman is one of the funniest people in the world to me. Every time I watch that guy's video, I crease myself. I just laugh so much. He's so funny, and it's scandalous that he gets so few views. It's wrong. I love him. If I remember, I'll link him as well. I need to put Scottish Geek Guy, I need to put Adam, and there was another one that will come to me. I'll put them below in the comments. Everyone knows who Jamie Powell is, everyone knows who Kermit's Ghost is, I'm sure. So yeah, there's always something about a person's personality that will bring me back to watching them multiple times. So John Candy, I wanted a bit more about him. I think there was a lot more depth about him as a person that I would have liked to have heard a bit more about. Okay, on the 27th I rewatched The Toxic Avenger because my husband had not yet seen it, so we watched it together. I love this. I get that there will be people that watch this that think it is absolutely terrible, but the humour in this is right up my street. It makes me laugh out loud. Peter Dinklage is a god in my viewpoint. I love the man. I think no matter who he plays, I fall in love with the character. Tyrion, Cyrano, Toxic Avenger, I am just in love with whoever he plays. He makes me feel, and if you know me, you will know in movies, the one thing in life I want more than anything is to feel something, and he always manages to do it. I haven't seen the original Toxic Avenger. I love the hell out of this. People say that they feel that it took it a bit too seriously. I can't see that you could have seen this and thought that they were taking anything seriously. It's ridiculous. It's laugh out loud funny in places. It's very cheesy, but some people will watch this and will eye roll and will like, this is just fucking awful. And I understand that because I feel it's very specific to a certain type of person, but I loved it. I loved the cheesiness. I loved the acting. I loved the over-the-top personas of all the characters. I loved the colour palette in this. It was just delightful to watch. I right up my street, guys. What can I say? 3.5 out of 5 for The Toxic Avenger from me. Where are we? Frankenstein. We're bound to be... Is that the last thing? Yeah, so we'll go up there. We'll not talk about these last two. Frankenstein. I have done an in-car review about this with my husband. I've since thought about it a bit more. I said in the in-car review that I was going to give it a 4 or 4.5 and I couldn't decide. I've since thought and thought and thought, and I've come in at a 3.5, which I know is a bit further down. Right, let me just switch this off because we don't need to see that. I suppose I could have showed you what other people scored it. Let me have a look. I'll tell you what other people scored it on here. Got 14 people on my list. Right, we've got a 4.5 from Austin Burke, a 4 from Leon, a 4 from Dan from the Upside Dan, a 4 from Brad. Adam's seen it, he hasn't put a score. Alex 4.5, Anthony Jennings 4.5, Ryan 3, Sin 3.5. Sin came in the same as me from Sin's Corner. We've got a 2.5, a 3.5 for Sarah, is that Popcorn Chat? And a 3.5 from D Movie Man. This movie could have been a 5 out of 5 for me. It looked amazing. It gave me everything I wanted in terms of appearance, in terms of the score, in terms of the acting. It was just another world. Like Del Toro, who is my favourite director, he just has this way of painting a different world and immersing you in that. I adored so much about this movie, but I can't forgive that they didn't have the scene where the monster comes to life, the creature comes to life. I was just gutted, and I felt that the creature design was think about the monsters that Del Toro has given us. The Pale Man in the Shape of Water. This guy is too damn handsome. He was perfect. These long lean legs and arms that looked exactly the same as each other. With the imagination Del Toro has, I would have expected something a little bit more unique. You could say, well, it is unique because it's unlike any other Frankenstein, and you'd be right. And I'm not expecting it to look like the stereotypical Frankenstein's monster, but I do expect to be repelled, for it to be repugnant, to be like morbidly curious, to sort of like want to stare at. So that's my son back from school, so I'll finish this off. We're talking about Frankenstein again. My husband was not a fan. My husband said he struggles to give it a 3 out of 5. He would be like more a 2.5. I think because, actually I would show you if I could, but on the wall behind me there is a big portrait of Frankenstein, and the one beside it of Frankenstein's bride. Or the bride. Did I say Frankenstein or well, wait, you know that thing that we keep doing, we call the monster Frankenstein when he's not the monster. There are parts of this that are just downright beautiful, especially the language, the narration we get from, you'll have heard all this if you've watched my review, I get into more detail, but it's such a beautiful film, it's gorgeous. I will watch it again. I will probably buy this because Frankenstein's monster is my favourite, or Frankenstein, the movie, is my favourite of all the kind of like monster movies. I just love the sort of like poetic, romantic tragedy of it all. I just love the story. And I think Del Toro got so much right. I thought, is it Jason Isaacs? He was amazing. Mia Goth didn't have enough to do for me. Certain parts of the movie passed too quickly. We didn't get enough detail. As I said in my other review, I feel that this should have been an 8 to 10 part series rather than a movie, which I never feel that way. I find it really hard to get invested in most series. I prefer movies. But I wanted much, much more. I wanted to be in this world for longer. I wanted to see more. I wanted more of Mia Goth especially. But how this movie looked, how it sounded, how the acting performances, I can't fault any of it. Please don't get me wrong and see 3.5 and think, oh, well, she didn't like that much. And the performance as the creature, and Lordy, I've forgotten the lad's name, real fantastic. He's brilliant. Why have you come in with a carrot? Oh, for fuck's sake. Is that the shape that it was here? It's not in shot. Was it that shape at the bottom?
Yeah.
Oh, for fuck's sake. You've picked that on purpose, haven't you? Put that away. Go on.
That's what she said.
Right, it can go. You're not in front. Look, just in case you can't see it, it's got bollocks as well. Right, there you go with it.
I couldn't see it because I was watching on the camera. Comes in again.
Can you stop till I finish? It's just so much longer than it needs to be.
What, the carrot?
Yeah. So yeah, it got so much, I can't even talk serious now after that. It got so much right. I loved so much about it. The world, maybe I'll come round to how the monster looked. I did not want to find myself physically attracted to the creature, and I did. It had long hair and it was very tall. I like long hair and very tall. Yeah, well, I'm just getting lost now. But you shouldn't be feeling that. You should feel repelled. You should allow the story and the narration and the situation to make you fall in love with the creature despite his appearance. And in this, it was very easy to fall in love with the creature for no other reason other than he was stunning. His skin was all the same colour. It didn't feel like he was like mismatched together. I feel like that light has turned down a bit. I need to buy a new ring light. But yeah, don't get me wrong, so many people will watch this and adore it and love it. I just was disappointed by the creature design, and that one scene, the "it's alive" scene, wasn't in it. And they were two big disappointments for me, which is why it took it down to a 3.5. I'm still debating. I gave it a 4 initially, and then I took it to a 3.5. And you know what? I'm debating again, and I'm probably going to put it back up to a 4 again. I am. I'm going to put it back up to a 4 because it needs to be on my top 10 movies of the year, purely because I loved so much about it. And it maybe sounds a bit ridiculous that I would put this in my top movies of the year, given how I felt about the creature, but how I felt about everything else, it just was stunning, like such a beautiful, beautiful piece of work. But I'll stop waffling because I'm sure you don't need to hear any more about me waffling. So I shall be back at the end of November, the start of December, with what I watched in the next month. And yeah, thank you as always for watching, for sticking with me, for being patient, for listening to these big long waffles. I will obviously, as always, do reviews of anything that I go to the cinema to see for you. I know they're maybe not the best quality visually, but I like to sort of like get out what I think the minute I come out of a movie. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Over and out from Lisa Lives.